I just got done watching Dana from Miss Diaper D's back to school tag video, and I thought it looked so much fun, and so I decided I'm gonna go ahead and do it. So the first question is, first day of school jitters. Yes, I always had first day of school jitters, even though I absolutely loved going back to school. I loved it. It was like highlight of my year, pretty much, or at least one of the highlights of my year. But I always did have jitters because, number one, I was really shy, so I was always nervous that I wasn't going to know anyone in my class, or that I wasn't going to have a friend that I already knew and was comfortable with. I kind of always was scared that everybody else was already going to have friends and I wasn't, and yeah, that was one thing I was always nervous about. Another thing I was always nervous about is that I knew that on the first day of school I would get my schedule, but that I wouldn't know where any of my classes were before I got the schedule, so the first day was always kind of a finding where you're going type of a day, and that just really stressed me out because I always liked being early to class, and not even on time, but early, and I was always so scared that I was like gonna miss my class because I was gonna get really lost in the school. I was also really nervous about lunch. Was I gonna have any of my friends at lunch, or was I gonna be like a loser, sit by myself? I was always scared that I was going to miss the bus to get home. But aside from all of that stuff, I was excited. Number two, have you ever fallen asleep in class? I fell asleep in class one time ever. That was very unlike me. This is not something that I normally did, but I did do it once, and it was because it turned out that I was sick. That day, I don't remember feeling sick when I left for school, but towards the middle of the day, I was in my English class, and I just remember sitting there and I could not keep myself awake. Like, I was trying so hard. I was pinching myself like under the desk, and I just could not. And I don't even remember falling asleep. But the next thing I know, my teacher's like shaking me awake, and she's like, "Are you okay?" Because she knew that wasn't in my character either to, go to sleep in class. And so she's like, "Are you okay?" And as soon as she woke me up, I felt like I was just gonna pass out again because I was so tired. And she felt my head, and she's like, "Oh my gosh," she's like, "You are burning up. You need to go to the nurse right now." So I went to the nurse, and it turned out I had like 104 or 105 degree temperature. So my mom had to come pick me up, and it turned out that I had like a pneumonia or something. So yeah, I was out of school for like 3 or 4 days after that. But it turned out I was really sick. But that was the only time I ever fell asleep in class. Number three, share your most embarrassing moment in school. Okay. This story is kind of long, so I'm going to try to chop it down as much as I can. But basically, I liked this boy, and he liked me too, and it was pretty much the only time in my entire high school career that a boy ever liked me back that I knew of, that I liked. And we were in a classroom alone and working on a project together, and we were flirting back and forth, and I basically asked him if he wanted to go out on a date with me, which was completely out of my character, you guys. I cannot stress enough how shy and quiet I was in school. So for me to go this far out of my comfort zone to ask a boy out was just, yeah. But I did it. I asked him, and he was about to answer me when some of his friends walked in, and they heard me ask him out, and so they started teasing him about it, and I was kind of dying inside. And then he did the worst thing he could possibly do, which was to not answer. And so for the rest of the class, they were like teasing him, like, "Come on, are you gonna go out with her? Are you not gonna go out with her? Are you just gonna leave her hanging?" And he was just like, "Shut up, guys, just shut up." And he wouldn't answer, and I was sitting there, and I was completely embarrassed, and yeah, I think I went home and I cried. Number four, will you or have you joined any clubs or sports teams? Well, as far as sports, the only sport I ever tried to join was cheerleading, and I completely freaked out and flaked and did not go finish my tryout. I started my tryout, but I didn't finish my tryout, so obviously I did not make the cheerleading. And as far as clubs, I joined a lot of clubs, like a lot of clubs. I was in Spanish club, I was in yearbook, I was in diversity club, I don't even know the number of clubs that I was in, but I was in quite a lot of clubs. Number five, what has been your favorite grade? Well, probably 11th would be my favorite grade. Number one, because it was the first time that I had liked a boy and he liked me back. I mean, I had liked boys previous to that, but they had never like liked me back. I mean, or maybe they even did and I just didn't know, but I was too shy to talk to them. But this was the first boy that had made the initiative to engage me in conversation and express that he liked me and I liked him too. And so it just made going to school really, really fun when you have a crush and he likes you back. Like, that is crazy. And then also it was my favorite year because the class that he and I were in was a child care and development class, and basically you learned how to be a teacher in that class. 2 days out of the week we learned how to create lesson plans and things like that, and how to execute ideas to small children. And then the other 3 days of the week we would go to a preschool that was near our high school, and for an hour, you know, that we were in that class, we would basically have control over that preschool class. We were 3 students to a classroom, and the teacher, sometimes she was there and she would just be working on lesson plans, and sometimes she would leave. But whatever lesson plan that we created on Monday and Friday, like we would start working on a lesson plan on Friday, we would have the weekend to work on it, and then Monday we would fine tune it, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday we would execute the lesson plan that we had created with our teacher. And it was really fun, and I loved it because, you know, being a teacher was one of my biggest, I don't know what I'm trying to say. That, since I was in elementary school, that's all I've ever said I wanted to do, was to be a teacher. I've never wanted to be anything else. And so that class I just thought was awesome, and I loved it. Number 6, did you ever have to wear a uniform? No, I went to public school, kindergarten through 12th, so no. Number 7, who was your favorite teacher? My favorite teacher, hands down, was Mr. Reddington. I think pretty much anybody who had Mr. Reddington, that was their favorite teacher as well. I had him for 10th, 11th, and 12th. In 10th grade, I was just scheduled him randomly, and I loved that teacher so much that I requested him specifically in 11th and 12th. And just to express how much he was liked, senior year, I show up for his senior year English class on the first day of school. There were 45 students in that classroom. Our normal class size at our school is about 15 students, and there was 45 in that classroom because so many students had requested to be in his classroom that there was a mix-up with the main office, and they had scheduled too many kids in all of his classes, and he ended up having to cut like 2/3 of every class that he had because so many students requested him by name. But yeah, and he was my favorite teacher for so many reasons. He was fun. He was so much fun. Like, if you fell asleep in his class, he had this closet, which I can't remember the name of the closet, but it had a name, like the Closet of Doom or something like that. And if you fell asleep, that closet was full of obnoxious sounding instruments. He had, what are those tambourines that go ping or whatever? He had that thing in there. And is it a didgeridoo maybe? I don't know what you call that long thing with the, goes up and you blow and it's like, ah. Did you like my sound effects just now? But yeah, he had all kinds of crazy sounding instruments, and if you fell asleep in class, he would be like, class, Drew fell asleep, everybody be quiet. And he'd go in his closet, he'd get something, and he'd go up to you, and it was like, ping, and scare you to death, and make you like fall out of your chair, and everybody would laugh at you, and he'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, did I wake you? And I just thought it was hilarious. And during tests, like sometimes he had his like chair from his desk and it was so squeaky and noisy. And sometimes when we'd be taking a test, he would like lean back and he'd be like, and it was like so obnoxious. But he would really do it like when we had like a long test and everybody was kind of getting lazy and tired. He would do that to kind of wake everybody up, give you a laugh so you'd continue and do well on your test. So yeah. Also, the biggest thing that ever made me like this teacher was my mom went to the same school as me when she was a teenager, and she hated senior year. She was just totally ready to get out of that school. I mean, she got pregnant with me her senior year, and I don't know, her senior year was just not her favorite, and so she wasn't trying to remember it at the time, so she did not buy a yearbook. Well, Mr. Reddington was the head of our yearbook committee, and I was in the yearbook, and so I had told him this one time, you know, that my mom never got her senior year yearbook, and that she wished that she had gotten it later in life. So anyways, it was like her birthday or something, and I was telling him this story, and the next day that I came into his classroom, my mom's senior year yearbook was sitting on my desk, like her year. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, he's like, our high school had this place called the Vault, and it basically housed every yearbook ever in the history of our school. And it also had a bunch of other things that, you know, the school just saved. And yeah, so he had like gone that evening after school and spent hours in the vault searching for my mom's year of her senior yearbook, and he found it and he gave it to me as a gift so that I could give it to my mom for her birthday. And it was just one of the coolest presents I was ever able to give my mom, and that was so thoughtful of him to go out of his way to do that. So I mean, he was just that kind of a teacher. I liked him so much that I tried to set him up with my mom once. That's a whole other story. My mom was not happy with me when I tried to do that, but yeah. Okay, least favorite teacher was my first grade teacher, Mrs. Barnes, because she brushed my hair in front of the whole class and made me cry because my hair got messy at recess. And I was really tender-headed, and I screamed whenever my mom did my hair, but she did my hair in front of the whole class, and I was embarrassed, and it was painful, and I asked her to stop, and she wouldn't. Let me just tell you, she got in a whole mess of trouble for that one, because my mom, you didn't want to mess with my mom. And my other one would be Mrs. Young in 6th grade, my 6th grade social studies teacher. I was the kind of student that if I wasn't doing well, I was encouraged with like encouragement, like nice words. If you wanted me to do better, the best thing for you to have done was to encourage me to do better and not fuss at me. I know some kids do better when you like fuss at them, but I have never been that kind of person. Even my mom, you know, she's like, when you were little, if I wanted you to do something, I needed to praise what you were doing well instead of fussing at what you were doing wrong. Because when people fuss at me for doing something wrong, I really just shut down and I don't want to do anything further. But I've always been a pleaser, like I'm a people pleaser. And so, you know, instead, if you want me to do something, it's best you encourage me to do it instead of fussing at me for not doing it. And she was not that kind of a teacher. She was very much a teacher that would, like if you forgot your homework, she would just berate you in front of the whole class and yell at you and basically make you feel like you were the stupidest person in the entire world, and maybe you couldn't do the homework because you don't know what you're doing and you're not studying. And she'd just go on and on and on, and she'd just belittle you in front of the whole class. And she really just, I just shut down in that class. So I did terribly in that class because of that teacher and her teaching methods. If she had just, you know, pulled me aside and encouraged me to do, you know, to study more, to do my homework more, I would have done it because I wanted to please her. But yeah, I just did not like her teaching methods. That really, I just found her scary and I didn't like it. Number 9, what was the worst thing you ever did at school? The worst thing I ever did, I stole something. Okay, so we had this math teacher, and at the beginning of the year, he took a picture of every student, just on your own. He just took a picture of you, and then he had taped them to his wall in his classroom. And I forget the reason for it, but he had a reason for doing this. Well, at the last day of school, he was like, if you want your picture off the wall, you can take it with you. If you don't want your picture, then at the end of the day, I'm gonna just, you know, toss them all. Well, he left the room for a minute, and not only did I take my picture, but I took the picture of a boy that I had a huge crush on. He hadn't been by to get his picture yet, and I wanted his picture, and so I stole it. I took the picture off the wall. So yeah, I'm a thief. Number 10, did you have a car? If so, what were you driving? I did not have a car because I did not drive. I am 28 years old and I still do not drive. I am terrified to drive. So yeah, my mom offered me a car. She offered me a, what was it? I think it was a Honda Civic. I think it was a blue Honda Civic, maybe. I think. But I think I drove it once because she was teaching me to drive. But yeah, I never drove it again, and I declined the car. I did not want the car because I did not want to drive. Number 11, are you still friends with anybody you went to school with? Yes, I am. I'm still friends with my friend Claudia. I've been friends with her since 5th grade. Last question, is there anything you would change about your experience with school? I wish I had thought to ask someone to tutor me. I don't know why I didn't think of it, because all of my best friends in high school were like awesome at school. Like, it just came so easy for them. They all had straight A's. And I wish that I would have just asked one of them to tutor me, because they totally would have done it and they would have been happy to do it. And I don't know why I didn't ask, except that I was really embarrassed that school came so easy for them and it didn't come as easy for me. Also, I think I would have done amazing if I had stuck to regular classes. But because my friends were so advanced, they were all in advanced placement classes, which were basically the equivalent of college classes. In fact, if you took the class and then at the end of the year you took the AP exam, it counted towards college credit. It counted as if you had taken the class in college. So, I mean, that saved you money in college. And because I wanted to be with all of them in school, I took advanced placement classes as well, because it was your choice to take them. And I really shouldn't have done that, because I was not an advanced placement student. I should have been in a regular English class and I probably would have aced it. But because I took a college level class to try to be with my friends, I didn't do so well. Well, English I did okay. I did fine in English, even in AP, so go me. But like history, I should not have done advanced placement history, because I hated history like regular class, and I probably would have done well in that okay, but I just wasn't interested in it. So for me to take an advanced placement college level history class, OMG. I don't even know how I passed that class. AP chemistry, what was I thinking? AP biology, seriously, Tori? Like, wow. I took AP everything because my friends were in AP and I passed. God help me, I passed. He had to have helped me since I passed, but I should not have taken those. So I wish I would have taken regular classes so that I would have like felt better about it, because I honestly don't know how I passed those. And I wish that I would have gotten a sense of style, I guess, earlier, because I had none when I was in school. Oh geez, I dressed very just t-shirt and jeans really, and my hair was just usually in a ponytail or a bun, and I didn't wear makeup. I didn't even wear makeup to prom, because I didn't know too much about makeup stuff. And I was girly, but I just didn't know how to do it. And I don't know. I wish that I had gotten a sense of style in high school, because I think it would have made me feel more confident and maybe even a little less shy, because I felt so frumpy and just not confident in myself. And I think that added to my shyness. But yeah, all of that. I wish I could go back and redo it. Number one, because I did enjoy high school and middle school, and I enjoyed all of that, but I wish I could go back and do it awesomely. But yeah, so that's what I would change. But yeah, so that is the back to school tag. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you were watching this and it looked interesting to you and you want to reminisce about your old school days, then I tag you, and I will see you guys later.